welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room that we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Alec, thank you so much. That was heaps of fun.
Thank you.
I had a lovely time escaping from this one. The bear was a lot less eaty than I expected.
Yeah, you were really afraid of that bear.
I really was. Why wouldn't I be?
It's just a cute little bear.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little guy.
Not in my notes, it's not. Look at it.
Yeah.
It's almost as big as the saltwater crocodile that I didn't need.
True.
Yeah, I think in earlier drafts the animals were more of a threat, but then I was like, no, I just want them to be friends.
Yeah, they're just happy guys. Oh, that was great
Yeah.
fun. It was a really nice idea for the room to have it in this taxidermy section. But I think it was really fun in paying off that early setup of make these animals appear was very clear and consistent. So I never felt with this room that I didn't know what I wanted, which is a really nice thing, I think, in an escape room. That at no point was I let's see what happens. Or rather, the very first action was, let's see what happens. And then I was shown what happened, and it was really clear and nice the whole way through. Which I really enjoyed. Did all the playtests have a similar sense of this direction, or did some people run straight to the bees and get very confused?
I think everyone started with the bear and the mannequin because they were like, well, that's clearly the main focus. I think the hardest part for me was not accidentally saying homophones and other things, because I did accidentally cause red herrings for several people.
Yes.
Oh, I can imagine.
There was actually, I think, as a little behind the scenes look, where I wasn't quite sure why at the time, but now it makes perfect sense, that we had a whole thing where the table, right at the start of this room, where we found the scroll on the table, and then you said, well, the table is bare, and we went, ooh, bear, and you went, I'll take that one again, let's change it up, which makes sense, right? Because it sort of gives this idea already of hey, luckily you didn't supply it to us, but already there was a little homophone there that we latched onto and went, that's a homophone, bear and bear.
I was looking for them everywhere. I was reading that first scroll going, aloud. I don't think there's anything I can do with this, but it's there.
It's a homophone. It was great.
Turns out English is a mess.
It was a really lovely kind of conceit as that central thing of have a look for homophones. So that later on, when we found the bird and you said, it's an Arctic tern, we were able to be oh yes, it's the
It's very satisfying, I feel, as a puzzle. It works for audio. It's fun. I love doing sound.
I also love the idea that
and wordplay.
By creating the turn, you've taken the turn out of the valve, and so it can no longer do the verb.
Yeah, that was a fun.
Because the noun exists. I think it's really
idea.
cool.
Thank you. I was going to say, in an original draft, I had it so instead of the bees blocking the stairs just weren't there, and you had to work out, you had to stand there and look at it to make stairs appear. But then I started going down a rabbit hole of okay, but what if people do this and what if people do that? And then I realized if I gave you too much power, the room would just break. So it had to be the magic kind of turns some things into other things. You can only turn those things back. That's all you can do.
It is hard having to come up with strict enough rules that in an hour playtime, everything will stay as raveled and only as unraveled as you want it to be.
But I do as well, I think that's a clear thing where because we always knew what the next step was, I am honestly, because I was going to say, I'm shocked that we didn't spend more time being ridiculous with trying to come up with homophones.
We never felt the need to try to break stuff.
There was never a moment where we were I don't know what to do. What if I could just make this thing appear? So because of that, we never felt the need to abuse the system, but maybe having a stopping point of how do you get up there? Without it being there are missing stairs, to just be a bit of a stopping moment, I think invites...
I can understand trying to think of that as being funny, as just, you really can't see any way up there. God, it would be nice if there was some way, wouldn't there? And then have us try to discuss our way to it. It would have been a fun moment.
Yeah, but
I
think it would have encouraged.
Understand.
Yeah, and I think if you had more moments of being really stuck, there might be more shenanigans of people just being what can I make with this? How can I solve my problem? Even then, for a tiny bit, before we got the name of the turn, my brain started going what's a synonym for something that would help us catch a bird?
I was definitely looking for hook, net.
I don't know what it would have been, but I almost felt myself going into this world of let's start thinking of ridiculous synonyms.
Yeah, it does turn out the most useful nouns are the ones that don't have homophones.
But yeah, as soon as we found the homophone, we're great, let's just do the thing.
It was nice.
Yeah, that's also why the fake tree was just a generic every tree made of plastic. Because I think in the playtest I was like, oh, I guess like a pine tree would be good for bears, and they're like, oh, pine. I like stand next to it and I get really sad. I was like, okay, maybe it's a fir tree, and they're like, fir. Okay, fir. We need hair. We can make fir
Yeah,
from the tree.
let's
I was like,
get the
it's just a tree. It's just a tree.
We hadn't done much at that stage, and my brain was absolutely going there. And yet I went with the very useful homophone, a yew tree.
Which,
I don't know
if there had been a missing sheep, if there had been a missing sheep, you could have done that. But
or if we needed another copy of ourselves, which we could kill yet again for the second time in this arc, create a U and then kill it. That was really fun. So, was this your first thought? Like when you were presented with, we're doing this connected arc, did you go, I want to do a taxidermy room, or like how long did it take you to come up with this idea?
When were you volunteering for this room? How did that process go?
So this was basically, there was like a big list of ideas, and I think one of them was taxidermy. So I didn't really come up with it. I was just like, oh, that sounds fun. I reckon I could do something with that. And I think my initial thought was something about like the history of taxidermy and sort of gaffs, which are kind of like the fake taxidermies, like the Fiji mermaid, where it's sort of the head of a monkey and the bottom half of a fish. Those are called gaffs.
Yeah, great.
And it would have been like, my idea was sort of, they had like a little plasticine area for the kids to play, and the kids had made all these weird animals, and you had to sort them out somehow. But I couldn't. Just
wasn't
really
clicking.
I couldn't work out how to get around it.
It sounds like a fun idea if you ever come back to it.
Yeah, no, I think using that in something else at some point maybe. But yeah, so then I was kind of sat there being like, okay, what kids' activities could be magically warped? And then I came up with the puzzle book, and then I was like, okay, what are like really simple puzzles that could. So for a bit with the kind of the pipe maze, I did have a bit where I was like, okay, maybe there is like a really complicated pipe maze and you have to work out which valve to turn. But then, I couldn't get that to work either. So then I came up with the, because I already had the homophones at that point. So I was like,
you started with the puzzle book
turn.
and just went some basic puzzle types and then expanded them out from there?
Yeah.
That's wild as a direction. I would not have expected that. I can't believe it worked so well.
I just could not work out like puzzles with taxidermy. So I was like, what's something else that could be in the room? Kids puzzle book. Hey, there's magic. Maybe all the puzzles start getting really complicated and magical.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. I just would not have expected that was the order at all. How funny. I mean, it worked great. And the puzzles were very satisfying to solve.
I'm glad. I think the one bit I did worry about was the crossword, because it was very much just a crossword in the middle of the room. So I think I did think about like spreading the clues out, and maybe sort of you do one clue and then you do some more room and then you do another clue. But yeah, then it was sort of how do you get which clue goes to which part of the thing? And
I think
really need the bird's nest and floor. So yeah,
and I think like sometimes that's like player dependent, but knowing that we are going to be the ones who are sort of the primary players of this, it's easier to just go here, do a cryptic crossword and have some fun.
Yeah.
Because just because we do so much of that anyway. Not super well, but we do it. So it's nice to have to sort of know the person you're making it for. And we often run into that with these, where sometimes Danny will design a thing and go like, well, I know that I'm running it for someone who knows what's going on, is into puzzles, knows what an audio escape room is because we'll be there to describe it to them. And so it gives you a bit more freedom in like, this will work.
Yes, although usually it's the other way around. I will have written a couple, like the next room, and I'll say, make sure you get this sort of person on for this one, if possible.
Yeah.
Which ones, Billy, did you feel happiest solving?
Not from like a sense of like, oh, I did really well, but the thing that I really enjoyed was the glyph on the tree with the bees and how they matched it. I just really liked that. As I found that very enjoyable.
That's very fair.
I don't think I felt especially like, oh, I'm the coolest, smartest person. But I don't think I needed it. That was just a really enjoyable puzzle to do.
It was. That's definitely true. It's a tough call because that was really enjoyable puzzle-wise, but I just have such a soft spot for homophone like ingenuity and having to think of them and try to come up with what's the best homophone for this situation.
Putting the turn back into the turn as well was very cool.
It makes you feel really cool. It's just fun. It's funny. I really enjoy it. It just makes me happy.
This also had one of those moments that we talk about a lot on Podcast This Escape, of different ways that people interact with parts of the room in terms of like whether they have a solution that then they're trying to apply it, or if they're looking for a solution and waiting for it to get given to them. And so we knew for a long time, it's like, I want a chain. Like, I want chain links. I want some links of a chain. That'll be really helpful. And so we're having that moment of seeing a chain and just being like, all right, there we go. That's the solution.
That
I've been
was
waiting
great.
for your chain.
Oh,
It's a really nice
The
moment.
other thing that made me feel really great was the first times we were looking at those glyph things and we got all of the hexagons, and I immediately said, bees?
Yes, you knew what was coming.
I was pretty
know what a
happy about
hexagon
that.
is.
There's only one place hexagons exist.
Yeah, I think the inspiration for that was I really like Pigpen as a cipher.
Yeah.
The trouble is, it's so used that you can't really use it anymore. So literally in my head, I was like, what other places animals live? Because Pigpen, Beehive.
Beehive. I love it.
Beehive. So that is the Beehive cipher, which literally just came from being like, I like Pigpen. What other shapes do animals live in?
That's
But
great.
wait, so are there only 25 possible variants of the hexagon? Or
Yeah, so if it's a shaded in hexagon, that's an A. If you draw the outline of the hexagon with nothing inside it, that's a Z. That was my
Oh.
thinking. But to be fair, I've only used it in this room, so
That was great. It worked really, really well, and it was very fun to just see it laid out. To see those letters laid out so strangely was a really great version of this is both clearly not solvable just looking at these letters, but clearly something.
Alex, did you feel good about that when I said they're scattered around, but this looks intentionally scattered?
yes. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was put together very
It's always
nicely.
nice when people get it and it's not like I'm sitting here being like, oh no, that's completely wrong. I've accidentally, done the wrong image, so it's red herring.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, good from a perspective of running this to like not then make us do the overlaying ourselves or anything like that. Just be like, look, you've seen that they're going to connect. You can just do that.
That's very charitable.
which is very helpful. Especially because, like, in real life, you would have ways to do that more efficiently. Like, if you were in the room, you're like, great, I'll put one behind the other, I'll hold them up, and then I'll draw them in or whatever. Like, there's ways to do it. So it's nice to just be like, here you go, you can just do it. It's a very nice, similar, Danny, I think, in the goats room that you ran at the start of this season of like, okay, you've got two halves of a document.
Tree,
I don't need to hold them separately.
I finally learned.
So that sort of stuff is nice because it's just like it saves you the annoying part of the what is the fun puzzle. But no, that was really nice. The beehive stuff in general. So just about beehives, I really love that people like, the consensus I believe seems to be when people talk about bees, like, they have these hexagon stuff in their hives. Like, isn't it interesting how, like, because that as a shape is like really solid and has this really good like strength to it, and the bees are smart enough to build in hexagons, and they designed it because how do bees know that that's such a stable shape? And it's like no, the bees just make a little circle, and because hexagons are stable, they all compress down into hexagon. Like,
that's
the hexagons
as I understand it.
are there because they are the most stable shape. They naturally just pop up when you stack a bunch of cylinders on each other and squish them. They turn into hexagons. So that's what the bees have done. They didn't do anything. They just made circles and it all turned into hexagons. They're not doing anything super smart. That's just what happens.
That's actually
hexagons now.
What we talked about, I'm just really impressed by creating your own hexagon-based code. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really lovely. And yeah, you could just use it for stuff in general now. Like, you now have a piece of paper, you be like, I'll send you my secret B code. And people are like, great.
And you can just shuffle the letters if people memorize it too much. That's all good.
Yeah, that's great fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
It works out really well.
Did anything, besides that apparently the animals might have started out a little bit more aggressive, has much changed from beginning initial playtests and things to the version that we got?
Not massively. I think, the stairs appeared because...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was breaking the room a little bit. But I think other than that...
Can I ask
it's pretty consistent.
What sort of breaks did people come up with when they were trying to mess around?
I can't remember anything specific. It was more just getting distracted was the issue. And I had to be like, okay, no, just focus. Yes, I think that was the only thing that changed.
Turn out your pockets all the time. Anytime you're sick of something, just go, broke.
Yeah.
broke. We've talked about the puzzles that we enjoyed doing the most. What was your was it beehives or other stuff, or like what was your favorite thing to design for this room? What are you proudest of in design?
I think probably the beehive, yeah. And then also the homophones, just coming up with homophones. I just kind of sat down and basically spent an hour just going through lists of common animals and being like, well, that one's a homophone. So I think it was like moose and moose. I was like, oh, could I have chocolate mousse?
Yes.
I think for a bit I had an idea where there was like a whale and you had to like just go into the massive tank and just like be really mournful and to make the whale appear.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fun.
Yeah, I think seal as well. I think originally some of the
Ooh,
scrolls were gonna
yeah.
have like these like wax seals on them.
Oh,
and so
that's
had to
fun. You
sort
could
of
take the
that
seal
Also
off and be
good.
like, now I've got the seal. That's cool.
Yeah.
This feels like it has a lot of potential for a sequel room, if you ever want to write one.
Hopefully. Oh, that would be a lot of
Mm.
fun. Yeah, like I said, there's a surprising amount of homophones out there. So I think doing a room that's basically entirely homophones would be a lot of fun, but also a lot of work to
Yeah,
make.
to see how
Yeah.
much you can like push that
Oh
concept
man,
and
you
get
need
it really
to
wild.
go
Yeah.
for the extra challenge threequel. Do the entire room in Japanese.
Where everything's a
I don't
homophone.
Everything's a
Japanese.
homophone.
Everything's a they love it.
I would also need to learn
Japanese.
Japanese, but who knows?
There's a wonderful thing people do in Japanese where there's like a way of, because there's so many things that are sort of homophones, but you can write them with different symbols that have the associated meaning, and you can just be like, this is actually this, and it's the same word every time, but you're changing all of the symbols to write them to make a point about what it means, and it's just this sort of very specific type of Japanese wordplay that you can't really do in English as much, and it's just very common. From like really interesting like philosophical talk, or just like in a manga where you want something to be written one way but pronounced a different way. You can just sort of play with this whole version of a whole new world of homophones that is very
This
odd.
person has a really common surname, but if you write it with a different kanji, it says butts.
That's fun.
That's the manga version, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's always very fun. I mean, the seal thing I really like because it's one of those ones you could like hide in the illustration where you never quite say, oh, there is a seal on these things. You could just have the picture with a broken seal, like with a seal on it, and people go, wait a minute. Did you say I was looking for a seal? Wait, can I have a look at that scroll again? Is that a seal in the picture? Like it's been, and then like there's a way to like add little hiddenness to it and see if people could find that.
Yeah.
Which would be a fun moment.
I do think that's exactly right. What other animals are there?
You want more animal homophones?
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, I think what else did I come up with? So male deers are called hearts, and then female deers are does.
Nice.
Good point.
So that was one I thought about. Bats and like cricket bats, baseball bats.
Yeah.
Oh, but now we're
and
into
then I was like-
homonyms, and that's a whole different kettle.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, I can't have a cricket bat because then maybe the insect cricket will get confused with it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
that's
what else
fun.
was there? I
I
think those were the main ones I thought about.
Look at all the
can't
wet,
remember any
all the
others.
water in the fish area has caused the metal on the wall to rust. Oh, look at all that walrus.
Right.
Terrible. Tuna
Tuna.
only
Yeah.
works in our
You
accents.
can't tune a fish. Well, yes, they're good fun. I think you picked very nice ones for this. Like there's no moment where we were struggling, but there was also no moment where we were like, ugh, well, yeah, whatever. Here, get out of here. So I think it was a nice selection.
I'm glad that you were here to immediately get links, though, because
Thanks.
I know that I didn't get it immediately, and I'm a bit worried to think how long it might have taken
What
me.
other cats could you have gone
No,
to?
exactly. Look, that's the thing. I would be able to reject every other cat very quickly, but I don't think about lynxes very often.
I'm going to hold the scroll and then I'm going to lie on the table. You don't need the accent. That's how you speak.
Yeah, understand.
Um,
All right, now, additionally, we can't get past the fact this is room 5. We're at the middle section. We've just hit halfway, I
and
suppose,
we've
officially.
added a mysterious antagonist.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
we're
Who gave
getting
you the
into-
right?
We're getting into meta now.
Yeah, you got the little stinger for being halfway through.
Yeah.
That's
Was
wild.
that like so that sort of stuff? Obviously, as a group, there is a bigger like meta discussion of what goes in which rooms. And was this something that you were involved in, or did someone just sort of send you an email one day and say you're going to add a shadowy antagonist? Like, how
We
did
don't know
that
if
work?
it's an antagonist.
That's an antagonist. They're following
That's
us and making creepy statements.
But yeah, so I'm in the Discord chat for all of this, so I've not had any massive input on the meta plot, which is sort of why my room doesn't have any like things you've taken with you or anything. But yeah, at the end they were like, "Oh, hey, you're halfway through. Do you want to add a stinger?" So I did write the stinger based on what I knew of the meta plot, and then I kind of asked people who were more involved in writing it, like,
Nice.
how is this? Should I change anything? And they were like, yeah, no, that's good. That makes sense. That sort of foreshadows without revealing.
Yeah,
So hopefully that's a good balance.
That's exciting. So somewhere, I've drawn them in my notes as a silhouette of distinctly a cowboy. So you, Bill, were speculating that it was going to be a bow-legged guide.
Which it only makes sense for people who've listened to our Patreon content of 2-minute mysteries.
I think it came up in the AMA as well.
Oh yes, it's my favourite voice. The bow-legged guide from the 2-minute mysteries. But yeah, we'll see. It's fun. It's nice to add, because I think part of like the concern when you have 10 people doing the connected story is that because it's hard to be the one to say like, well, I'm going to make this narrative decision. Let's deal with it. Like that you might have no narrative decisions at any point, and it becomes 10 rooms with a theme, but no like connection beyond like we're all in a museum. And I like that this is starting to come out now. Like there's something else going on. There is a deeper kind of thing that's happening that is
very
connecting.
Intrigued.
So it's nice because for someone like either as a group or as a person to be like, let's do this now. Let's move forward with that.
How did you find this process of
in
working
general.
with other people?
I think very stressful, but not like because of anyone specific. Just the whole thing is stressful because, of course, it is. But yeah, it's been really nice. Like everyone's been really lovely. Like we've all had good chats. We've sort of, I've play tested with a lot of people who've written other rooms.
Have you had to do a
and
bit of like
that was-
not stepping on each other's toes, or that's a bit
Yeah.
like my puzzle?
Yes, I think in the archaeology room you had cryptics.
There
Yes, there
was a couple
were a
of
couple,
clues,
yeah.
yes.
But it didn't
Yes.
feel too similar.
No, you're
yeah,
right.
no, we did discuss that because I think originally my room was directly after his room, so I got moved back because
okay.
we don't want them right next to each other.
That's
Makes
fair.
sense.
It has been long enough that you're right. I didn't notice a connection at all.
Yeah.
I think I've
But
talked
yeah.
about that though when talking about like puzzle design, and there aren't that many puzzle types that exist, and just saying if you code it in enough story and character, you can use the same
Although
puzzles a lot.
I do also remember this for when we were doing Golden Idol, and we were working on the DLCs for the Golden Idol, for Rise of the Golden Idol, and we were doing the first DLC, and Will was doing the second DLC. And while he was doing that, he came up with a really, really cool puzzle style, which was using the mechanics of Golden Idol stuff in a way that we hadn't really used before, in a really smart and nice way. And it was a really fun puzzle. And there was a moment where he had made that in one of his early rooms while we were still working on our early ones, or early scenarios. And then we got to one near the end, and I went, oh, that puzzle would go really well here. Like, that would be a really
in
fun way
our
to do it.
DLC.
And then I went, but
We
I can't
do
because he
that.
just came up with
his
it.
shining puzzle.
And I don't want to introduce it before he does. And I said, I asked though, in case I was being silly.
Yeah.
I was like, would that it would kind of take away from them? And he was like, I think it would. And
It
he was
definitely
very
would.
nice about it, but I just sort of agreed. I was like, yeah, I think it's a really cool idea now that you've introduced it, but I don't want to introduce it earlier,
No,
taking
certainly
it
not.
from you. I want people to experience it the way you put it into the game. So there is this thing of like, we don't want to step on each other's toes in terms of like interesting puzzle mechanics or ideas or something very, very cool. Even though, it would have been a really fun way to solve one of our puzzles.
Yeah, but it worked great the way that he did it.
Yeah,
Having it
hugely.
stand on its own like that, like
Yes.
having seen it earlier would have made his version of it
Yeah,
objectively
far
worse.
less
And you
impactful.
can't do that.
And he'd built around it being the first time. So, but no, it is interesting when you work with other people like that to like how you interact with each other and how things bounce off is always very funny. But yeah, it's nice. I'm glad the experience was enjoyable. One day we're going to get one of these people for the guest game master. We're going to ask them this question in the post show and going to say, I hated it.
Episode 10
Everyone
is going
else
to
who-
tell us all the real
Who
dirt.
worked on this was terrible. I kept coming up with great museum ideas and they shut them down. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
But no, like everyone's been doing it, especially the people who are doing the art, like Leah and Owen and stuff. Like they've done
It's
so
been
much art.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think I did all the art for my room, but
Oh,
like,
nice. Well
the
done.
the passport and stuff wasn't me.
Yeah, I mean, Owen's also done the theme song, which has been very fun,
Yes.
Oh.
which is, as of this recording, debuted like yesterday or even today.
Today, I
As of
think,
this
yeah.
week.
It was this morning for me. I listened
Yeah.
to it very quickly before recording.
But no, it's been a lot of fun, this whole thing.
It's been really great from our end, seeing how things are going so far, and I'm glad that everyone that we've talked to so far has had good things to say about this creation process. It's been really nice. The other thing that I believe that you have to contribute, we don't know the name of this episode.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a pitch for the name of the episode?
This episode is called Re-Animalator.
Re-Animalator.
Because they're all named after 80s movies. I'm not quite sure why, but they are.
That's how it happens. We did our Descent of the Culledons was all named after quotes from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and running the room and writing it and doing everything. It was really enjoyable. We had a huge amount of fun.
Had a great time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, glad you had fun.
Yeah, I love it. And look, for people, again, who are here after, a week after the first one, if people want to check out the stuff that you've made and see more of your stuff, where should they go?
So it's Valinius Productions on itch.io, and that's VULLINIUS.
Lovely. Well, go check it out. Everyone go and have your own hag race. You'll have a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening. I didn't thank you, Danny. Thank you so much for playing in the room with me and solving puzzles.
I'll forgive you.
And drawing a big
time.
picture of a bear.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone at home for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to help spread the word, please do. We're always looking for people to tell people in their life online in various places about the show. Word of mouth is the best way that podcasts spread, and we always appreciate it. So if you can tell anybody, that would be fantastic. But you can also support us on Patreon. We don't run any ads. We support ourselves through crowdfunding. So anybody who signs up at any level for the Patreon, including just $1 a month, can appear as an NPC in one of the rooms that Danny's writes. And also, there is a whole suite of bonus stuff. There's years worth at this point. If anyone who's a $5 donor gets access to weekly bonus episodes, all of our play tests, all of us doing 2-minute mysteries and cryptic crosswords. By this point, if you sign up, you'll get years worth of fun backlog to listen to and enjoy and puzzle along with us. There's also a new show for our $10 donors where we're just watching Charmed and talking about the TV show Charmed from the 90s. It's great. It's a lot of fun. There's also bonus videos every month and trivia every month and a whole bunch of fun stuff for everybody who signs up. So thank you for everybody who's supporting us there. It is we could not be more appreciative. It's wonderful. Thank you everybody who supports us on Patreon. All right. Thank you again, Alec. Thank you, Danny. That's the end of the episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.